Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mest 5150 here with another MaliceCast live on Twitch, which is where you should be in the chat room to talk all things nerd with us. This is the podcast about all things nerd, as I've said before, brought to you by our parent site, malice-corp.com. So please go check out the website and find all the things that are within the nerd community of Malice Corp, all the different broadcasts for different podcasts that we have. So yeah, I'm S5150, your host. Joining me on the cast, we have Beacon. Welcome back, sir.
What up? What up?
What up? And also the Big Papa Matt.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're good.
Player.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is the first time I've seen you without a hat in a long time. That's a healthy mane there, buddy.
It's getting ridiculous right now. I got to get a haircut. That was the plan after. This is vacation hair. I got the beard trimmed, but not the hair. So
you got a nice little coif going.
It's weird, man. I don't like it. It's weird. It's this widow's peak that just like does its own thing.
We also got on the cast our Masonic Vader, representing Battle Mage, and if you didn't show the flash symbol on that jacket, I was going to think it was a Mooby's jacket from Clerks 2.
I kind of thought it looked like the movie Usher jacket that sweeps up the theater at the end of the night.
That's what he's going to do after this.
This was just cool swag I picked up in my little World's Finest box, my first loot box ever. Woo!
Which we'll get a video of that out to you guys to see here on Twitch and on YouTube, youtube.com/c/MaliceCorp. Follow and subscribe both of the channels. Also on the cast, we have a Super Hoovian Freak with us.
Yes, you do. And that's a good thing because, you know, I survived the week. And if you knew about what happened to me this week, you would be surprised.
Anytime you survive something, it's good.
I think the people around you survived the week. That's probably more important.
Yeah, that's actually probably more accurate. That is a very good description.
Super didn't murder anybody this week, so there's that.
Exactly.
Thank God. But I don't know, they're still tonight. Yeah, so this is the cast where we talk all things nerd, basically what's been going on in nerd news out there. I've been being poked and prodded by Masonic Vader to talk a little bit about Infinity War, and because of the way Chris Pratt has responded to some of the things going on, I decided it's time to talk a little bit about it. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the Deadpool promos and how they make the experience better, and we'll also talk about that Sony actually released some of its details for E3, along with some other little things if we have time to get them in there. But before that, we always like to start out with a little segment we call What You've Been Geeking Out to, on, whatever, nerding out, whatever. So I'll start off really quick on what I've been geeking out on. If you guys are in the chat room, if there's anybody out there, please let us know what you've been geeking out on. Me, myself, today I binged a show that I've been meaning to get to for a while, which Big Papa Matt gave me a little bit of
crap.
Crap for not watching it now, and him already talking about how great it was back in January. But Lore on Amazon Prime, fantastic shows. Only 6 episodes, an hour long each. It's an awesome show. We binged through all 6 episodes today, just talking about some of those stories that came from Lore's history past. It actually came based off a podcast that the narrator does. So I like the factor that if you guys go and watch it, even the actors doing the dramatizations, you recognize some of the actors that are on there. There's people from True Blood that are in one episode. The dude that played T-1000 is in an episode, Robert Patrick. Beacon, what you been geeking out on?
Let's see. I said it last week in the chat, but you know, this new season of Westworld obviously is out. Into the Badlands. I've been catching up on some old shows, just kind of in the in-between time while I'm waiting for those to come out. watched a couple of movies, not really any good ones. We're kind of in that dead lull after Infinity War. It's like, crap.
It's like
man.
everyone's now waiting for Deadpool.
God, there's not very many good movies right now, so we're going through that. And playing some Monster Hunter, man. We're getting like my third wind on Monster Hunter right now. So
Nice.
We were playing it before cast actually, and we may or may not have been late to the pre-cast meeting.
I figured you had to kill your things, so
Yeah, priorities.
I felt a little ignored though, but
Can't text and kill monsters at the same time.
no.
I'm not that good.
You're not Buffy. No. Seems like something she'd do.
Definitely.
Big Papa Matt, what have you been geeking out on?
Well, I haven't been geeking out on Batman Ninja.
So
Don't worry about that. So there's that. And then actually what I have been geeking out on is, as you know, I do have a couple other podcasts, one of them being Comics for All. Here comes my first shameless plug for the day. But we have been reading Super Fogies. And it's basically like, think of if all the superheroes were old and geriatric. So kind of like Merman and Barnacle Boy from SpongeBob kind of thing going on. But it's by one of my favorite studios in Third World Studios, the people who do the stuff of Legends and things like that. So it's a nice little indie comic strip. It's online. It's free right now, so anybody can read it. They have like over 70 chapters of stories, and it's a blast. It is a ton of fun and something I really recommend checking out because it's really fun to geek out on. And shout out to our guy, Igor. He was the one that actually brought this to our attention on the show. So we are all reading it and checking it out. It's a lot of fun, actually.
Nice. And he always brings the things that you don't know that's out there. He just finds these hidden treasures and stuff and brings them to the forefront. So,
and this thing is fantastic. We're having a ton of fun with it. So,
yeah, awesome. I'll check that out. What about you, Masonic? What have you been geeking out on?
Well, I've been geeking on my cool jacket. As you can tell, it switches. It's awesome. And no, actually, what I've been geeking out this week is that game I told about last week, Surviving Mars. Like I said, I was into the SimCity kind of simulation games when they first came out, and this is a very good adaptation of it. Been playing a lot of time on there. Actually, an app I found out about is an app to the ISS, the International Space Station. You could actually download. You can actually get this app on your phone, and they have camera angles running 24/7 from the ISS. And so every once in a while, I'm at work, and I just have that on my desk running all the time, and you can see sunrise and sunset every like 45 minutes. It's pretty sick.
Nice.
And then other than that though, the comic book day. It was my first day. I actually got to go to Sky High Comics, which actually remarkably is close to where I used to work, and took my kid there last week, and some of the 501st was there, and my kid got some pictures with some stormtroopers and whatnot, and we ended up probably spending, I think, about $70 worth of comics. But we support small business.
That's the whole thing. Support the comic shops. Like we said last week, Free Comic Book Day. They still have to pay to get those comic books. It's not just being provided to them by the makers of the comics. So when you're going there to get that stuff, buy a comic that looks interesting to you or something like that. They're there to keep the nerd culture going. So
yeah, I actually got Justice League International 1 through 35.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. You can tell us how it is. What about you, Super? What have you been geeking out on?
I caught up on on one of the newer shows. I don't know if you guys have seen Alex Inc. Zach Braff making his comeback. I think the show is funny. I think it's got potential. I hope to see it get picked up for a second season. It's only 30 minutes, and it's really funny. And I also caught up on Arrow and the Flash. I think the Flash is going to end strong.
I like the show with Zach Braff, but it's already one of those bubble shows that
I know it's already on the bubble, and I'm just like, well, with everyone doing the Hatchet lately, I don't think it's going to make it through, but we'll see.
Nobody wants to see Zach Braff not wearing scrubs, so
I know. I know.
You know what? You can wear anything as long as Donald Faison's on the show with him, so you get that bromance.
That's the key. That's the key.
Faison's not there, so that's the hard part. That's the.
Well, I mean, they could get him for some cameos if they give it a second season, but we'll
They're
see.
such good friends in real life that it's
I
surprising
know.
he hasn't popped in on an episode. So,
Speaking of,
But I do enjoy it. I would like to see it get a second season, but we'll see. So go watch it, people. Go watch it. Give it some ratings.
speaking of binging, you know what I caught up on? Super
What?
Timeless.
Oh, finally! Is
I'm
that
all
not
for it.
good? Is this second season not good? Oh, they are killing
let me
No, it is
ask you this
good.
really quick. You guys being the timeless, the
Yeah.
what do they call them? Clock blockers?
Yeah, clock blockers.
Say clock.
Nice.
I'm glad we're on Twitch now.
Some of us are both, okay?
Yeah.
Well, is this season better than the last season when it got canceled?
I don't know. I wouldn't even say better. It's like, it's just, they mesh so well together and they flow so well.
Because it's going through the same problem that it had last year. They're talking about it getting potentially getting canceled.
The problem that they're having is the network wants it to have these ridiculously high live ratings.
Mhm.
Their ratings are for the DVD watch and the week after are really strong. But you stick it in a time slot, 10 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time on Sunday night. Gee, you wonder why your live ratings aren't high? It's like, come on, NBC, take a,
Yeah.
you know,
They
wake
have a
the
strong
F up.
following. It's just not necessarily watching it live. Yeah. And I'm guilty of that as well. Like, I usually don't watch the show
can't
live.
watch it live.
Well,
On
we
the-
now know after today that even if a show has a strong following, it gets canned. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So,
I don't know. Yeah.
so yeah, you never know what the execs are doing over the studios and stuff. But I'm glad you guys are able to geek out and binge out on the stuff that you like, and that's the whole point of this cast is to do the things you like, talk about the things you like, yeah. So I wanted to say
support the things you like too,
support
right?
the things you like. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I really wanted to say is I wanted to thank the last two people. We've gotten two more people to start following the channel over here on Twitch. One of them being somebody we had a ton of fun with, Fuse911 on Monday, and another one being Pino Russ. So thank you guys for following us. And what you should do, this is all about community, all about nerds and geeks and helping out each other. Anybody that follows us, go check out their channels. Go see if they have anything good to watch and interact with them and give them a follow if it's something you like. That's what this is all about. So thanks again.
Oh, I gotta give a shout out to Jack Malice in the chat room who says they are following us to listen to Beacon and Matt, which is totally true.
Of course.
I mean, yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, the first time
Malcolm Barrett's a good friend. You know, he's a good friend of the show's.
Where's everybody at? Where are you guys at? Come watch us and talk to us because let's see. The first time I get both of you back on here, we got a little bit lower viewership right now.
I love Malcolm
We're
Barrett.
starting to come into the summer, and I think people are getting out. And
No, I'm just. I get razzed, I razz back. So we all know it's always better when these two are on here. So
Debatable.
But let's get into what we're really here for: nerd news, things that have been going on in the nerdosphere. So let's dive into it. Masonic Vader, you wanted to talk about it. Infinity War came out a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to get your opinions on the film and stuff. I'm sure you guys have, if you haven't recorded it already, are going to talk about it on Quest for 100, Beacon, and Big Papa Matt, because that is a fantastic podcast that everybody should be listening to. It's on iTunes and Stitcher. Quest for 100.
Episode 6 is on there right now.
Nice.
Go listen to it.
Just popped today.
Nice.
Yep.
And I will give you the shameless plug where, you need to go there. If you like it, please drop a review. And it helps others see it when you do that. So, but yeah, the reason I wanted to bring this up is, so spoilers for everybody. If you haven't seen Infinity War, it's coming. People are pissed off.
War, man. You're just not caring about it. That's all it is. Moving on.
People are pissed off at Chris Pratt.
Really? Why?
They are
They're
ripping
pissed off
him
at
apart.
Star-Lord.
Yes,
Why?
because
Why?
they're mad at how Star-Lord reacted and
Okay.
caused them
Alright.
to not get the gauntlet off of Thanos. And everybody's yelling, couldn't you have waited 30 seconds? 30
No,
seconds.
because
No,
any
because-
other hero would have done the same thing. Tony would have done the same for Pepper Potts, and Peter Parker would have done the same for Aunt May. It does. You put a hero in that moment with their interest, and the exact same thing happens.
Interest or loved one, because I hope to God Aunt May is not Peter Parker's interest.
But that's what. That's why I said his interest. That's his.
Hey, it worked in Game of Thrones.
It's all right.
Now, who would Rocket go for?
Groot.
Rocket?
Groot.
Groot.
Yes.
Come
Groot
on.
or his weapon, maybe.
No, he would
Destroyed
totally.
his weapons cache.
Yeah, I say
All
give
right.
the guy a break, especially because he's having so much fun with it.
I mean, the reason I wanted to bring it up.
I didn't realize that that's what people were actually angry about
Oh,
with
they're
Infinity
pissed.
War. There's so much
They're
more.
so
things to
angry.
keep going
They're
off
so
about.
angry that he had to respond to it on Instagram.
It's
Yo,
dumb.
it
Oh, I
right?
saw that
Yeah.
response. It was awesome.
Star Lord effing himself.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
it's like, what did you want? You wanted the movie to last like 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, come on, people. Like, be real. Like, one, if you're anywhere familiar with the comics, that's not how it works. And this movie gave us some iconic moments from the Infinity Gauntlet comic series. I mean, we had like epic moments from comic history.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Well, I can tell you this. I pride myself in seeing a bunch of movies. I mean, my dad really instilled that in me when I was a kid. We used to go. I mean, I remember going to see Batman when it first came out. I saw a bunch of movies with my dad, and I've been taking my kids to the movie, my kid to the movie and stuff. And I can tell you that without a shadow of doubt, there's less than 5 movies that I actually walked out of going, wow. And that was one of those movies. That movie was quite impressive. They balanced all the superheroes out perfectly. Obviously, for all you guys who are butthurt about Star-Lord, dude, get a life, man. First of all, it's a movie. They have to set up the second one, so shut your mouths, enjoy it. I mean, what the hell? But it was an incredible movie.
That was the best acting in the whole movie. You know, that was the only react. No, I'm just kidding.
It felt real. Number one, that wasn't the part I had a problem with, and it wasn't even a problem so much as just a minor flaw. And for me, it was just the way they set up the last battle. I felt like we were railroaded to the end. Like we knew where it was going. We knew it was going to happen. But I think that the delivery from A to B could have been done a little bit better. And that's just me. I felt like Thor not showing up until the very end after he'd already done what he did. It didn't feel right to me because it's like, well, what was he doing? Was he cleaning up little Joe Schmoes on the battlefield instead of taking out the general? Didn't feel right to me. So that could have, I think, been done better. But I'm not disappointed with the ending. I'm just disappointed with how they got from A to B.
What's up, Red Meepaw in the chat joining us? What's up?
McGruber.
McGruber. I'm a huge fan of that movie, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. I was a huge
You're all
fan of that
stupid.
flick. I loved it.
McGruber.
Yeah.
The thing
Here's the
about
thing,
Infinity-
man. Go ahead, Ken.
Go for it. No, go for it, Papa.
There was just so much there's so many other things in that movie to be up in arms about. For people to get emotional over the most real reaction in the whole flick. I mean, that was there. And here's the thing. You can't here was my whole take on Infinity War. It was definitely not a perfect movie, but for the 10 years I've spent watching Marvel films, this was a fantastic payoff for the fans. And I felt they did that better than anything. I don't know if anything could have had a better culmination after all of us spending time and investing time in these characters, these movies, and they nailed that. It was a movie where I thought there's no way they can make this good because there's going to be too much. And it was a blast. It was a lot of fun.
I saw the movie twice.
I've seen it 3 times. So.
Yeah, most of these movies I see them twice. And the first time I see it to make sure that my boy could watch it, and then if I feel comfortable with it, I'll take him. And the second time I took my kid, and this is where you could tell that Marvel did it right, is the part where Thanos goes at Tony Stark and gives him a nice little jab. there was a person in the audience that straight up just started, no, not Tony, no, and no. I mean, it was just like that. And I know
the
that
Mark
sounds,
Hamill, Luke finding out it's his father scream.
oh my god, I know that sounds funny, but at the same time, that just goes to show you what Marvel has done in the last 10 years with those movies and what that did.
Yeah.
They had no fear in this movie with killing off people.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah.
Hey, the issue that I have with the movie is, and I agree with Matt. I agree with you, Ken. I mean, it was very well done. I enjoyed it as a culmination of 10 years. However, this is a throwaway movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Sorry for the spoilers. None of this is going to stick because
I know.
there's going to be more Black Panther movies. There's already another Spider-Man movie already filmed and already in production.
That was the biggest problem that they did.
It's to me, it was like I'm watching it happen and I'm like, oh well, none of this matters to me. So like I had people that were like, oh, I was crying and it was so emotional when this happened. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It's not going to stay that way.
So when Peter's laying down, he's like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Stark." I was like, "Oh God, not Peter!" And I was like, "Hold on, wait a minute, he has to come." Like,
Yeah, what is
I should have no emotional investment in this because there's no way I should be emotionally invested in this right now.
But you did on the film rights.
But you did. You
I
totally
wanted
did.
to.
When
I wanted to.
When Peter
I
Parker
wanted to
was
be
laying down there
emotional.
going, when he was laying down going, this, no, I don't want, you know, for just a brief moment,
I absolutely
those
did.
eyes.
I did. They welled up, and I was like, "He's never going to get to fight Michael Keaton again." Oh, wait a second. Yeah, he is because there's another movie on its way. But Red, I absolutely agree with you. And yes, Jack, absolutely. There's not enough Nick Cage in this film. You're damn right.
In fact, there's none. So
There's not enough. Exactly. There's not enough.
I think there's just enough.
No, I think we needed one. I think we needed at the end of the credit when people were like being lost, like right next to Nick Fury in the car. He should have like popped out with his hair and been like, "I'll come to save you."
Oh my god!
And then he starts to disappear with them.
Like they should just do cameos, like they do the Stan Lee cameo every film. They should just do a little Nick Cage cameo. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is Stan Lee needs to wear a Nick Cage lapel pin. That's what I'm saying.
Big compliment, Matt. What you need to start now is you need to get Nick Cage into the streaming out to get Nick Cage in the Marvel Universe to get him into Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because
No.
He's Ghost Rider.
I need him.
He's Ghost Rider.
I need him to revive the DC universe. There's only one hope for the DC universe, and it's more Nick Cage. All right, that's our only chance. It's our only hope for DC. Nick Cage. Heard it here first.
Well, I was not disappointed
You're
at
all speechless. You can't argue. I get it. It's one of those things.
With the interaction, the one thing I was excited about the most from the trailer was seeing who was going to outsnark who between Star-Lord and Tony Stark. I wasn't disappointed at all. No. I like their interactions when they first, meet. I guess you can say when they get ambushed on the ship and he walks in and he's like, "I'm going to ask you one more time, where is Gamora?" Okay, well, I'm going to counter with, "Who is Gamora?" And then Drax comes in. He's like, "I'm going to do you one better." Why Gamora? Like the whole interplay between them was really fun.
It was it was a great Thanos film. That's what it was because like you said, it holds no consequence because they're going to do something to redo what they want to do. So,
well, they even threw it out at the end when it said Thanos will return.
Well, we have 3 more Guardians movies as well to go through, so
Yeah.
No.
I'm interested to see how they're gonna what that one scenario was where Doctor Strange said he went through 14,600,000.
We're in it. They're in it right now. We're in it right now.
Well, that's my point. I'm interested to see what happens with that, like where it goes. That's what I picked up.
You have Captain Marvel.
Here's my thing though, and I want to know if you guys picked up on it because I was talking to Mest about this after the movie. Did you talk about this, Mest? Did you talk about this last week?
No. All right. Masonic's been wanting to talk about Infinity War. All
right.
Absolutely.
So here's the thing. So when at the very end of the credits, when Nick Fury is like, "Oh, I gotta send a signal," and he pulls it out and he hits up the beeper, right?
Mm-hmm. That's Captain Marvel.
throwback to Captain Marvel in the past.
Yes.
It's a beeper
Yeah.
from the past,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So
It's a time traveling
her movie-
beeper.
it's a time traveling beeper.
Right. And her movie takes place in the 90s. So
Yeah.
she's now going to have
Yeah.
a heads up on what's going to happen, 20 something years before it happens.
Which everybody's assuming it's a Soul Stone thing that's going to cause Avengers 4 to go whatever way it goes. It could just be letting her know in the 90s, and she lets whoever she, lets Tony know.
Or it could be the second Gauntlet. So there's that too.
If they bring that into the film, universe.
There's that route they could take as well. So there's 2 or 3 different scenarios that could impact, but obviously time travel is going to have some sort of effect on this.
Now, do you think something's good? I mean, you think they're going to get Ant-Man's movie kind of like integrated into this? Because obviously you just had this major event. Now you're going to go to Ant-Man and Wasp, where apparently half the people in the world should be dead by now.
They've already said it's going to tie into it. They say that it's going to tie in, and I'm thinking Wasp is probably going to disappear, and then
I hope not.
Ant-Man will go and join up.
Jack is disagreeing with your thought, Big Papa Matt. He says it was to call Captain Marvel in present day because she's out in space, so he was calling her home. So maybe she has old beeper technology, and that's why.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, but we already know her movie is going to take place in the 90s. So if there's a tie-in for her movie to the next Infinity War, which is going to take place
10 years before the first Iron Man,
Yeah, so it's either going to be a standalone to introduce her, or it's going to tie in. And if it ties in,
we can do both, actually. I think.
Well, here's my
thing: it takes place in the 90s, so
that's why I think it's a link to the past. Like that's why I think the beepers to the past, because they've already shown screenshots and set scenes from Avengers 4 where they're in the past. Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Bruce Banner are all in the past. Also, Ant-Man is in that, and they're in the past. That's what they're doing there, and I think that's that beeper showing that time travel is going to be a part of it. So
and that's a speculation,
Jack. That's why I don't think you're right either.
I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. So if you're watching this later, drop a comment into the chat room, letting us know what you think is going on. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, drop it down into the comments below. We do like to keep the conversation going. So please, you watch the movie, give us your thoughts on what's going to happen next. So
can I throw one more thing out there about the movie? And I said this about the trailer, and I think I just want to throw out there. I think Chris Evans' Captain America part was perfect for the movie. I think it was perfect. He wasn't the main character. He filled in. He was the strength, and I swear to you, man, that one of the coolest, best parts was that part where he was holding the Infinity Gauntlet against Thanos. And I said it in the previews. You could see that look in Thanos' face, like, this guy cannot be able to do this, and yet he's holding him up and actually pushing back against him. I thought that was a little bit of foreshadowing there for the next movie and stuff.
Yeah. Well, so 2 things. One, I'm going to do it because if I'm on the show, I'm going to complain about trailers. And in the very first teaser, they showed Thanos at basically the last 15 minutes of the movie. They showed the scene of Thanos throwing that planet at Tony Stark. And that is one of those things. Trailers should not show anything past like the first 20 minutes of a movie. Like that right there, because the whole movie, I'm waiting for that scene to happen. And then the last 15 minutes it's happening. I'm like, great. They showed the ending to this film. Like, it drives me crazy.
Unless you're purposely doing the trailer to throw people off, like what Star Wars did with their last few trailers, where they made the scene look like one thing, and then you're like, okay, I'm waiting for that scene to happen, and then it was completely different. You're like, okay.
For sure.
Well, yeah, I think they did that. They did that with Hulk. You see Hulk charging with the group in Wakanda, and next thing you know, Hulk's not even in it. It's freaking Bruce Banner in a Hulkbuster suit. So
I think that scene got cut. I think that's what they said, so that's why. So,
and was it just me, or are Soul Stones being handed out like Pez dispensers, where you just gotta kill somebody that you love to get one? It's like, all right,
I know.
Let's just do that.
That was why I said a little bit railroaded, but anyways.
Yeah, they were trying to have it come out of nowhere that you didn't realize where it was coming from. So,
oh shoot.
So my favorite meme, just, and we'll go on and we'll move on, I promise. But my favorite meme is it has Thanos like going with his hand, and it's like, I'm gonna destroy half the world to save all the the universe's resources, when I could just snap my fingers to give more resources. I was like, that's true. We could do that.
That is true. All right. Well, my ride to karaoke apparently is here early. So
But I need to see heroes die. So I'd rather have heroes dying than it just be solved.
Yeah,
Super's running out. Super's running out on us. So because she's gotta go
I didn't know she was going to be here so early. I wasn't expecting her for another 20 minutes. So, but I'm going to listen to you guys on the way down. So
let people know where they can follow you.
Well, yeah, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to be posting a lot tonight. We're going out karaokeing. Mest is joining me in a little bit too. And I would have stayed till the end, but I'm
here for the fans.
ride.
I stay through the whole show for you guys.
I know, but I'm hitching a ride to make sure I stay safe. You know, don't drink and drive, kids. Be smart. So I will see you all next week, and I will see you, Mest, a little bit later at karaoke.
Yeah, and Red's making some good comments because Beacon, you and Red are having a good conversation about will Infinity War have the staying power that Black Panther has had.
Dude, Infinity War's already done almost $453 million.
That's up
front, but you got to understand, Black Panther is still in a lot of main theaters right now, and it's still pulling millions and millions of dollars every week.
Last time I checked, I think last week it was $620 million for the 13 weeks that Black Panther's been out. And Infinity War's at 453 for week 2.
I'm like pretty sure it's higher than that. Like I can look it up while we're talking though. If that
But I mean, before we move on, that the point you said about where seeing heroes die, I think that's what I was trying to say. As far as it was actually good to finally see a freaking movie where it wasn't the good guys winning. I mean, everyone knows Infinity War, the good guys aren't going to win, but it was actually good to actually see it for once. Versus screenshot going dark and then that's it.
As of March 18th, so this is a month ago, right? 2 months ago, it was already at $1.185 billion.
Wow.
I think that's been looking at. I think I was looking at domestic. My part, my fault. I was looking at the domestic.
I didn't realize it was that. Wow.
That's
over $1 billion worldwide. That's crazy.
It's passed up basically everything for the moment. There's only got to be a movie or two that's holding on to a top spot, if anything.
And Red Meat Paws mentions in the chat room that Black Panther's also on Amazon Prime, which, as you know, if you want to help the site out, go to malice-corp.com, click on that Amazon link, and anything that you want to get from Amazon, you can get. If you have Amazon Prime, there you go. You can watch Black Panther on there, I think is what she's saying. So I saw Avatar. We don't want to watch Avatar.
Hey, Vader, your number was correct though. 694 million domestic, 645 million foreign. So together, $1.339 billion.
$billion.
That's crazy. It'll be the biggest grossing. So
good for Black Panther, man.
Absolutely.
It's not a movie I'm mad about getting.
No, it's a great movie.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I had no
Wakanda forever
whatsoever. So
Wakanda.
Yes. Okay, and if you guys want to hear more about Infinity War, now that I'm putting them on the spot, check out Quest for 100. I'm sure that when they have an episode coming out talking about Infinity War, you'll get a lot of great back and forth between these two guys.
Maybe.
You're on the spot now. You have to do it.
We'll see. I don't know. I just got back from vacation. I'm slow rolling it in.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, whoa.
Yeah, Infinity Wars is at 486 million domestic. Get this, $789 million foreign already. It's already
like I said, that thing's gonna.
So it's already over $1 billion.
1.275.
No, Infinity Wars is gonna smack it.
It may not beat it domestic though. Honestly, it may not beat the domestic numbers of Black Panther, but
if Infinity Wars holds out, if they keep Infinity Wars out for 6 months, it'll absolutely beat it.
It will.
And once again, you got to look at it. It's like Black Panther's been out for 13 weeks at 650, and in 2 weeks they're about 2/3 of the way there almost.
Well,
I mean, the only thing that would still up is going to be Deadpool.
Red Meat Paws saying that Avatar still has the top spot. So do you think it's going to beat that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we need to see what Avatar's at, right?
Yeah.
What if Avatar's at like 4 billion? I doubt that, but
I'm looking it up.
It may have been 3. It may have actually been like 3.
If you want to know the answer, come and check out Quest for 100, where we'll have it for you on the newest episode.
Avatar, ready? You guys ready? $2.788 billion.
Oh, it'll beat it.
Oh,
yeah.
It's gonna beat it.
If not, it's gonna be super close.
No, I think
close.
it's going to get it.
Go
Because they're week 2. They're week 2, and they're already over a
Week
billion
3.
in week 2.
Week 3.
Yeah.
Going into week 3.
Yeah. So, all right.
Oh my
On with
God.
the next
Over
segment,
$1
which I
billion
have a feeling is going to be very
Wait,
short
wait.
now. That
Last thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just said how much Avatar's made. Okay. But Avatar's only made 760 million domestic. So their money straight comes $2 billion worth is from foreign for Avatar. I find that interesting that Americans must know like this
Red
crap's
Meat
not that
Red
good.
Meat Paw
It's
says
good,
until
not
the-
that good.
She says until the next Avatar, and I say boo to
Until the
that.
next
Get that
Avatar.
out of here. Nobody cares about Avatar anymore.
Nobody cares about Avatar or James Cameron. Sorry.
Whoa.
Oh, hey, that's a little bit too
Oh.
far.
Did I? No.
James Cameron.
You
I
took it
stand
too
by
far,
that.
buddy.
I stand by that statement.
Well, you can tow your ass over the line off the show. So I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'll fill in this week if you need, man.
All right.
If it wasn't for Cameron,
Starring
we'd have
Sonic
Terminator.
Vader and the Big Papa Matt.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Well then.
Fake
So,
news,
moving
Jack
on.
Malice.
So
Fake
I
news.
think that this segment might be a little short because the fisticuffs that were going up beforehand in the chat room, but we wanted to talk about Deadpool's promos that they've been throwing out and how amazing they are, and how they do it right, how they're not giving away the movie and they're giving you more stuff to get you excited for the film. So there was 3 promos that came out. One gave a little bit of clips from the films. It was Celine Dion singing the song that she sings from the movie and Deadpool doing a interpretive dance to it. That came out about a week ago. But the ones that came out this week was Deadpool trying to say sorry to David Beckham for what he said in the first movie about Beckham's voice.
Yeah.
And was a fantastic little clip because it has nothing to do with the movie, had no part of the movie in it, and it was just him having fun with Beckham. And the best part about it is at the end, Beckham's like, "What are you trying to apologize for anyway?" And he's like, "What I said about your voice." And he's like, "Oh no, there's many other things that you've done worse." And he's like what? He's like Green Lantern, R.I.P.D. And he says what? Neck bolt or something like that, which Deadpool is like, "That was a masterpiece." So,
Yeah, and you can see his mouth like open up into the mask. He's like,
so now you two sitting over there from Quest, you haven't watched any of the promos, I'm assuming, or did you? I know you're boycotting trailers.
All I see is Red Meatballs talking about Green Lantern, so let's go for it. Let's talk Green Lantern.
oh my gosh. I can say this. I've watched them all because I'm a big fan of this Deadpool, and I quite frankly I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds ever since I've seen him in freaking movie with the college kid. Oh no, Van Wilder. There you go. I love them in Van Wilder. But anyways, I've watched all these trailers, and they're all showing the same exact clips, though. That's the thing. They're really not throwing
in terms of the trailers. Yes, in terms of the trailers.
Yeah.
But once again, I can understand where Big Papa Matt and Beacon come from, where trailers is an art form that's kind of been lost. It companies don't know how to make a proper trailer anymore without giving stuff away. They do it all the time. I understand that aspect of it.
Yeah, and this is where I think this is where they're doing great with Deadpool. They're using Ryan Reynolds comedic genius kind of acting with the Deadpool character and just doing things not even related to the movie. It's just Deadpool being Deadpool. Which I think is genius. I mean, the Celine Dion video is just hilarious. If you watch that, I think they did the thing about Canada, and they talked about
Canada
behind the
was
scenes
hilarious
and stuff. Yeah. I got to give it to this guy, man. He lives that character, and it's going to be good to see him keep playing it in lots of different roles. And I love how he owns it.
Yeah,
and you can see it with all these little spots.
Let me ask Beacon and Big Papa Matt, if movies went to doing more of a viral type of advertising like this, where it didn't have stuff from the movies, but gave you a little bit extra that to get you invested without giving you the story, giving anything away, is that something that you'd like to see from more movies, or do you just don't want to see it at all?
So the promos can be funnier than the movie?
not so much funnier, but just it's a good viral marketing campaign.
I'm at a strong no.
Yeah.
No. So you wouldn't like to see other movies do that?
No, because one of the things I don't like about trailers is when I see something in a trailer, then it's not in the movie too.
Oh, okay, that's
what the hell was the point of that? Like that was an awesome, funny moment, and
I understand that.
Movie.
That one I understand immensely. That one pisses me off when I'm like, where was that scene?
So I don't like when you give me too much.
Okay.
I like when it's just enough to pique my interest. So the best example I can give is A Quiet Place. The initial trailers for A Quiet Place were awesome. You didn't know what the hell was going on. All you knew is that people were trying to be quiet, and it looked like it was going to be a little bit creepy, thriller, scary movie. And it piqued my interest, and Matt and I talked about it a ton of like, I can't wait to see this movie. And then they dropped like the full-on trailer, and it freaking totally gave away main premises of the movie, and it didn't ruin the movie because it's an amazing film, but it was one of those like, I wish I hadn't seen that trailer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I went in with different expectations.
Yeah. And it was also, once again, it was one of those scenes where you knew it was coming.
Yep.
So it didn't matter what else happened. You knew this was still going to be a scene that had to happen in that trailer. So here's the thing. I would prefer the viral marketing in lieu of trailers. But honestly, if you're going to have that kind of humor, that kind of comedy, and that it only works for certain, for certain films. Like it works for Deadpool because he's a fourth wall breaking, son of a gun, and that's what he does. That's what Deadpool's about. You couldn't have this viral marketing for The Dark Knight. You couldn't have this viral marketing for hostages or hostiles or for Get Out. That kind of stuff wouldn't work for those films. It works for Deadpool. It works for some of these comic book films because they they're not as that serious nature. But Shape of Water couldn't have had viral marketing.
No.
It wouldn't work that way.
Even if they did, they wouldn't have played it.
This is really yeah, absolutely. They wouldn't have played it anyways, except for like 2 theaters and not in Idaho. But the one nice thing about this though is it gets you hyped up for a film that you are excited for no matter what happens. And what I will give Deadpool 2 is I'm excited for it no matter what gets released because I know there's still going to be amazing things in that film because Ryan Reynolds is crushing it with this stuff right now. He Vader, you're 100% on point. He plays this role, and every time, as soon as I heard that he was for Deadpool, I remember being at work with Mess and being like, dude, there's no one else I could think of to be a better fit for this character. And it works. It absolutely works for this setup. I don't think you could make it work for a lot of other films unless they were comedies. I think like stuff like Blockers and Game Night and things like that have been really recent. They could have a more viral media like that and had some fun with some stuff. Yeah. But
maybe
it just doesn't work for all of the genres.
But even then, Matt, those movies have a lot larger cast of characters, and I think that's harder to pull off. Whereas Deadpool, one guy telling jokes and being funny, and
it's also
character, so it fits.
It's also one guy in a mask, and you don't have to have Ryan Reynolds in everything. You
I could see
in a lot of that.
Spider-Man pulling it off. I could see them doing because he's that kind of character too. Like he's gonna talk trash. He's gonna he's gonna tell jokes and be funny. I could see them pulling it off with that as well, but I don't know about any other movies if you can really, if that would work.
And as we always state, when you guys come here to watch the show live, you get the show that we've got going on. You get another show in the chat. They are all about Nick Cage in that room right now.
We always are when I'm on the show. What can I say? It's my guy.
Guy. You know what I've also been seeing with Deadpool though too, and this is something I think is more of a lost art, is the marketing with like stores like say 7-Eleven or something like that. Like I've got this cup here when Thor went to 7-Eleven. And I've got a bunch.
Rolly.
There you go.
The hands, right?
Yeah. And like right now, there's a bunch of there's a lot of great sticker art and everything at 7-Elevens for Deadpool and everything, and you just don't see that anymore. Like I said, Thor I think was the last movie that really went kind of like going into the markets or the stores like that, and since then they've laid off, and now Deadpool's just come around again and be like, hey, here's me again. And I think movies should try to jump on that. It'll help out with not releasing as much in the trailers and at the same time getting the hype going.
I agree, and Jack Mouse also brings up a great point in chat about more movies with story and less CGI addiction. And
Yes, give us more Guillermo del Toro films.
Yes, give us practical effects.
And you heard, I don't know if you heard the news, but Jordan Peele said his next movie is set for next year called Us, and he's already talking about some of the cast that's going to be in it. So another great storyteller. So we need more of his too. So
I was watching, and I'm so sorry, I'm going to sidetrack it for a little bit. So I was watching old Bobby Lee clips from Mad TV, and I forgot how much Jordan Peele was on that show, and I completely forgot that's where he kind of came from. And
really,
started getting big was Mad TV. Yeah,
he gotta go back and watch.
He has some fantastic scenes with Bobby Lee on Mad TV. I was dying laughing. It was so good. It was so good. And it was, it's early Key and Peele, because that's where him and why can't I think of the other guy's name? That's where they met. Was
Jordan Peele and Keegan
Mike and Key. Yeah.
Which it's so funny to see, like seeing where Jordan Peele's going in trajectory with his career now, doing the directing of these films and stuff, and you see Keegan is in the trailer for Predator.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which I have not watched, and I'm not going to.
No, don't.
I won't either.
Don't. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of question marks to it, but still,
not gonna do it.
Yeah,
not gonna do it.
Yeah. So,
You're still gonna do it.
Jack's saying, in terms of good storytelling, they did a good job on YouTube with Cobra Kai.
Fake news. Doubt it. Highly doubt it.
Didn't I say that? Did I not say that show was going to be good?
That's why we didn't believe it.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't, and I still don't. I still don't believe it, because it's you and Jack Malice saying it's good.
That's like saying Superman's the greatest, comic book ever. I mean, I can't believe it.
All right,
so you're still hating because I got this cool Batman belt buckle with a compartment.
Yeah, because it's blasphemy that you have that.
A guy who loves Superman wants to.
You're jealous.
You're jealous of the utility belt, so that's why you got that.
And Jack says not to lump him in with Canon Superman.
Bad sentence. Our bad. He always tells us to watch our phrasing. That was another example.
Should I break out the 75th anniversry Batman character I have in my closet here? What's going on?
Dude, mute his mic. Mute his mic while he's gone. Mute his mic while he's gone.
Let's move on to the last story to talk about. There's a little convention coming up next month that's has to do with video games called E3. And some of the studios are starting to put out their details of what they're going to be bringing to the convention. Sony mainly brought out who the big four things they're going to be talking about, which is, I don't think, a surprise to anybody that's expecting games from Sony, but they mentioned that their focus is going to be Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, the Spider-Man game, and Swords of Tsushima.
I'm going to tell you right now that the Spider-Man game I am super psyched for, dude.
Okay.
September. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Of those four, is that the one you're most psyched for?
No, Last of Us 2.
Okay, that's me.
Yeah, Last of Us 2.
So, hey,
you guys want to talk about great storytelling? The video.
You got to give it to Death Stranding as well, because Guillermo appears in it.
In which one?
Death Stranding. Guillermo appears in it.
What about
some capture for it, some motion capture?
We'll see.
What about that Detroit game? What was it called? Detroit? Is it
Detroit Becoming Human? That comes out this year, so we're going to be talking about it on there. But this is the weird thing. Sony has said that last 2 or 3 years, so the careful observer, you'll see what we continue to try and refresh and remake and reignite what we do at what we used to be called a press conference for E3. We want to make sure that's fresh and reflects the kind of stories we're telling and the new entertainment we have to give to our fans, not just the event, but worldwide with streaming. So they're saying that Sony may possibly not do a big stage platform event. Do you think that that's kind of stupid?
No, because all the developers do the bigger shows now. Square Enix, Bethesda, all of these guys, Ubisoft, they all have way bigger and better shows than the hardware guys now. And Sony, they're lucky they have Naughty Dog to give us Last of Us 2. and they're lucky that they still have a little bit of rights to the gaming franchises for Spider-Man, because honestly, things like Kingdom Hearts 3 are going to crush anything that Sony puts out this year. You have monster stuff. And if Nintendo drops Super Smash Brothers, no one's going to give a damn about anything else when that drops. There could be some huge announcements from a couple other developers that Sony, Microsoft, they're not going to have any chance to compete with what those shows are going to do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I get that. They also said there's not going to be any hardware announcements, so there's no PlayStation 5 or PlayStation Vita 2.
Which we knew there wasn't going to be.
We knew Vita 2 wasn't rolling. So
They're probably getting ready, so in case if they sell off the rest of the X-Men and Spider-Man, at least they have something to fall back on. They're not going to just drop it out right now.
Well, I just don't think they need to. We have the PlayStation Pro, so we have the 4K hookup. There's no need for a new console at the moment. I think PlayStation 4 is still selling it's still selling well, and
PlayStation 4 just rolled out a kid controller for smaller hands. And Xbox just released One S, and they're not going to give us new consoles right now. New consoles will be announced next year, and they'll be ready by 2021 probably. Yeah. So I see next year being the big console year. I don't see this year giving us the consoles. If anything, we might get a tease from PlayStation, but I highly, highly doubt it. They're the only ones I see doing it, because Xbox has spent way too much money on the One S to get actual 4K rendering on the TV. And the PS4 Pro is actually doing pretty strong for Sony from what I've heard. So there's not a lot of reason to do it, but if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Sony, but I highly doubt it.
So being that Sony has its own convention later in the year now, the PlayStation Experience, do you think that they'll hold back a little bit at E3?
No, I don't. I don't think so, because that's still the biggest platform in the world, and actually it's not even the world anymore. Gamescom in Germany is way bigger.
Yes.
And if anybody's going to get the console announcement, honestly, it's probably going to be Gamescom, not E3.
And welcome Whiskey Gamer 85 to the chat room. He says no PS5 flips table.
Absolutely. Yes, 100% agree with you on that, man. Yeah, I would. Yeah, please no.
Yeah.
I hope they give it a little bit of time, just because of the fact that, man, the one thing that frustrated me about the console wars was the simple fact that you get a PS, and then all of a sudden PS2 comes out 2 years later, and then next year PS3. I'm like, wait a sec, I haven't even finished up with my PS2 yet, and it just kept going too fast.
PS2 had a 8-year lifespan. What are you talking about?
Oh, what? All I know is that it just seemed like game consoles were coming out every other year.
No,
I think to that point, what Jack is saying in the chat room was that next gen consoles are already old tech when they come to console, because of how fast they were coming out with stuff.
Well, PC hardware is, it's still leaps and bounds above anything else. You have to invest more money into it. That's the thing. You have to keep your gaming rig at high end levels. There's a lot of investment in that. So that's one of those things. Consoles, they are usually behind hardware wise. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. But it's also one of those things where to put that kind of hardware in that small of a system is pretty remarkable a lot of times,
Yeah. So of these 4 games that they're talking about, like Beacon said, he's super hyped for Spider-Man. Last of Us 2, I really don't want to see anymore. Just like you are with trailers, I don't want to see any more of the game. Just give me the game. Don't give me any spoilers or anything. Just give me the game. That's really all I want at this point.
100%.
Death Stranding. Have you guys watched any of the stuff that came out for Death Stranding? It's Kojima Productions' first game since he left. So
yeah, absolutely.
Is it one of those where it is so confusing as what they're showing you that you want to see more to kind of figure out what the heck is going on with the game? Or is it another one where it's, hey, it's Kojima, he knows what he's doing, just don't show us?
No, here's the thing with Kojima. He's one of the most prolific storytellers in any platform genre you could think of, and any media. It doesn't matter if you're talking about movies, TV shows, comic books. Kojima is one of the best storytellers that will ever live in our lifetime, we'll ever see, and we're very lucky to be alive while he is as well. And this kind of a thing is, if you're questioning him, you're just dumb. You shouldn't be. You should just be excited for what's to come, because there's nothing that he's going to let you down on. It's just, there's nothing. So he gets to tell a story of his own where he doesn't have a studio on his ass, poking and prodding him to get something out and push him out. I say give him 10 damn years on this thing, and it'll be the best thing we've ever come across.
Oh, I agree with that. And how many freaking Easter eggs of trying to figure out how to do things are going to be in that game? After what he did with Metal Gear Solid.
Well, especially because, I've watched a lot of interviews with him lately, especially last year's E3 had a phenomenal panel with Kojima. And what was really cool with Kojima is how big of a fan he is of all other medias, and how well, like, he could come on this show with us right now and put us all to shame in comic books, in movies, in TV shows, and baffle us at all of his knowledge with it. And it's all because he's absorbing every single thing he can to make himself a better storyteller. And it's just, it's so cool. A cyborg. Absolutely. Yes. 100%.
Yes.
He is phenomenal. I'll do a whole show on Kojima if you guys want. He is phenomenal. I will always, anything he puts out, I 100% take my money now, please.
And for those that don't know what we're talking about, Death Stranding, and just, you take Kojima, who is one of, like Big Papa Matt said, the best storytellers period out there, puts out nothing but great product. But you add in oh my god, I'm forgetting the actor's name from Walking Dead, and Norman Reedus. You add Norman Reedus into the game as what we're assuming is the main character. You add in Guillermo del Toro in there as well. You put those three together, this sounds amazing just from that. So super stoked for this game, but that's me. So
yeah, go for it. I'm in. And so Jack asked a question, and I'll answer it for him because they actually talked about it at the panel last year at E3. He asked if Kojima could make movies, and he actually said no because Hollywood's got too much red tape for him to tell the story. Yep. He said they wouldn't let him tell the story he wanted to tell. So,
and I just want to say I'm excited about the Spider-Man game.
Spider-Man game looks great. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just by the looks of it and everything, it looks like it's the first Spider-Man game that actually will allow you to
open world. So
yeah, exactly. Be out there and do whatever the hell you want to.
And the game mechanics are amazing, just from what they put out last year, and to see how much they did all that was already ready to go when they demoed it. To know that now they've had a whole nother little over a year into it before it gets released. That's super promising to see how fluid and well done it was, to know that now they got a whole extra year to work out any of the bugs or any of the kinks and put kind of those finishing touches on it. It does look amazing. Very excited for a great Spider-Man game.
Yeah, Spider-Man's one of those characters that you could really have a good video game with because of all the different powers and everything he does. And when you look in the comic books of him, like, throwing cars, catching cars, jumping on walls, web slinging all around, it just seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
They already have had great, so here's the thing. Spider-Man was one of the few movie to game video games that was actually really good. On the PlayStation 2, a couple of those Spider-Man games were phenomenal. And the reason is because traveling through New York City with web slinging was a blast. It was so much fun, man. And as long as they nail your movement in this game and have some of that great humor from the comics, because Peter Parker actually is an amazing character in those books and in the comics. If they hit that right, it'll be phenomenal. It'll be one of the better games of the year, except for Monster Hunter World and God of War, because consoles and games right now are telling the best stories anywhere. So if you guys want great stories, go check out some phenomenal stories. God of War has been phenomenal.
And as always, if you want to pick up those games, you can pick them up from Amazon. And like I said before, go to malice-corp.com, click on the Amazon link, go get your games, and it helps us out.
Absolutely.
Shameless plug, I'm sorry, but
Amazon also has been giving deals on God of War too. They've been saving no sales tax. They had $20 off for a long time too, so go check that out for sure.
The great thing with Amazon is if you have Amazon Prime, that means you automatically get Twitch Prime, and if you like what we're doing here and you have that free subscription to give to a channel for 30 days, go ahead and give it to us. We greatly appreciate it. You just hit that little thing up at the top to subscribe. And
Son of Maku.
Son of Maku just subscribed.
One sub.
Nice.
4 months in a row. Yeah, thanks, Son of Maku. What a good guy.
From the clan of Maku.
From the tribe of Maku.
from the Tribe of Monkey. Okay,
Oh,
so and Whiskey
Whiskey
Gamer just
Gamer.
subscribed. Nice.
Whiskey.
Keep it going.
Thanks, Jay. Keep those subs coming, everybody. You
Once
get
again,
a sub.
everybody that has joined us following, thank you so much. Hopefully you guys can get here on the live chats to actually be part of this and talk all things nerd with us. This is an hour for us tonight, so we're going to move on to other things, but we enjoy those that came and joined us for tonight, and we will be back here next Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to talk all things nerd of what's been going on for the week ahead. I want to talk about where we can follow everybody, so we'll start off with Mr. Beacon. Where can we follow you outside of this realm?
This realm,
The Twitch sphere.
Middle Earth.
Wow.
We can call it Midgar. I've been playing a lot of God of War. We call it Midgard.
Midgar. Yeah,
I'm an elf.
yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at beacon_MaliceCorp. You can also follow the amazing podcast Quest for 100 at Quest for Movies on Twitter. Make sure you check out episode 6, just dropped on iTunes and Stitcher. Give us those 5-star reviews. It don't hurt you to do it. It helps us. It helps other people find us. So please check those out.
Awesome. How about you, Masonic Vader? Where can we follow you?
Oh, you can follow me on Masonic Vader on Masonic Vader 71 on PlayStation Network, of course on Twitter and everything. Though I'd love for you guys to follow Malice Smack Talk. That's my our newest cast, and we are on Stitcher now and podcast.com, and you can also find us on iTunes as well. The guy that's wearing the cool Marvel hats, the guy's the behind the scenes man, doing all the hard work. So if you guys wouldn't mind checking out those casts and also giving us some star ratings, that would be awesome. My name would have popped up on the subscribed for the Twitch, but I did that last month.
Oh, nice. Thank you. So you should do it because Masonic Vader is also subscribing to the channel.
Yes.
What about you, Big Papa Matt? Where can we follow you?
So you can follow me at a couple of places here on the screen on Twitter. You can follow us at Nerd Mosh Pit and at Quest for Movies. You can also follow us at another great show called Comics for All, and that Twitter handle is at All for Comics. So really easy to remember, just backwards, reverse it. It's easy. But you can also follow me personally at the Big Papa Matt on Twitter. You can also hit me up on PlayStation Network if you like. It's Son of Maku, SONOFMAKU. That's also my Snapchat. And then you can hit me up on Instagram at the Big Papa Matt as well. So enjoy that.
Nice.
To the bar, Jack. To the bar, not at the bar.
Yeah. So for me, you can let's talk about some of the great things to follow before you can talk about where to follow me. Our friends over at Battle Mage, which you can see the hat that Masonic Vader's wearing.
Right
Go
there,
check them
guys.
out.
Check that out. Yeah.
Great brewery out in San Diego. They are celebrating their 1-year anniversary tomorrow. If you got tickets and you're going, awesome. Have fun. If you didn't, maybe they'll do them at the door. I don't know. But you should go check them out. Also, check out our friends in Idaho, the premier comic shop, Turbo Comics. Max, one of our favorites, is on Comics for All with Big Papa Matt and creating those conversations that you have inside comic book shops and just standing in line for different conventions and stuff like that. So you should definitely check that out. As they said before, check out Quest for 100 on iTunes and Stitcher. Check out MaliceCast Smack Talk, MaliceCorp Smack Talk, which is our wrestling cast that comes out every week on Stitcher and iTunes. Wrestling. And you can check out all of our video casts here on twitch.tv/MaliceCorp or over on YouTube at youtube.com/C/MaliceCorp. For me, myself, you can follow me on Twitter at Mess5150. You can follow our producer, Jack Malice, at Jack_Malice on Twitter. And you can follow the entire site's Instagram at Malice_Corp. We appreciate you guys coming and joining us. If you're listening to this later, please drop a comment, hit a like, hit that subscribe, whatever it takes to come back and join us again. And we will see you guys next week. And you guys keep nerding on.
Stay nerdy out there.
Later, guys.